Limited palette, oh come on, it's so boring, honestly. In art school, I had to skip classes when we had to do those stupid limited palette exercises. But today, years later, I don't look at it as punishment anymore. I think it's actually the fastest way to start noticing your true artistic style. This little Dutch landscape with a windmill and hopefully a sunset. This is what I will be painting today. It's supposed to be an exercise with limited palette. You probably have seen those videos on YouTube when they teach you about the limited palette. Well, I hated those days at art school. I skipped them. I didn't want to do it because I hated those exercises. I always needed some fireworks in my paintings, and those limited colors, they would not give me those fireworks. I always wanted to have some real red, like my favorite Arvydas Kašauskas I was talking about him in this video. That's why I have this red imprimatura. First, I wanted to experiment something, and paint in his style. But I think I will be doing something, maybe not in his style, but generally with this limited palette I have. Now, by limited palette, I don't mean Zorn palette or any other traditional limited palette. I know some artists can be very snobby about it. It's like going vegan for them. I'm not like that. My limited palette is limited by me to the colors I want to have on my palette today: titanium white, yellow ochre, cadmium red light, burnt sienna, and ultramarine blue dark. Yes. So two of those colors, cadmium red light and ultramarine blue dark, they're not typically Baroque colors in general. Well, Caravaggio used ultramarine, but rarely, and only when patrons and commissioners paid for it. He would usually use black to achieve the effect of blue. And look at his paintings. There's not a lot of blue going on. And at school I was using only 7 or 8 colors. That was a professor's choice, and I had to live with it. I kind of like it. I know how to use them, and I'm good at it. But today I went even shorter, and I think it's not about how many colors you have on your palette. You can have 24 colors, but still you can suck at painting. I know I sound very snobby too. No, seriously, it's the mastery is not about how many colors you have on your palette. I love abundance. I love when my studio is, full of everything. I want to buy every single material. I want to enter my studio like I'm entering an artist's paradise, And that's what I had in Florence, but then I had to move to Amsterdam, and you just cannot bring everything you have. So I had to leave some stuff in Florence, and I brought only basic colors that I'm usually using. And also sometimes you just cannot afford to buy all the colors you wish you had, and you had to work with a limited palette that is limited by life, Anyway, no matter what the situation we're in, I want us to look at this limited palette not as a torture, not as punishment, but as a game. It's like a labyrinth. To me, it's like, trying to figure out where to turn next, and what. And I'm struggling right now on this little canvas board. I started this little painting when was it? Half an hour ago. And now I'm recording this, and I'm still trying to figure out where to go from where I'm at right now. And when I say to me, it's like playing a game to trying to figure out where to turn next, and where to go and where's the exit. There's actually a huge bonus in it. You will finally start noticing yourself on this canvas. Let me explain. When you remove everything you have, when you remove everything you're using on a regular basis, and you start using something unusual for yourself, like those 4 or 5 colors, and you can actually pick them yourself. You don't have to stick to those 4 colors from a Zorn palette. When you remove everything usual, then you will be, pushed to find new ways and to experiment. And this is when you actually start noticing yourself on your canvas. And this is such a beautiful feeling, because suddenly those elusive moments of your style, they're just popping out from canvas, and they're just jumping on you. And it might be not the universal grand mastery of the French salon, but it will be totally you. And you can fight it if you don't like it, but I'm pretty sure you cannot fight it. It will be still there, even if you try hard to fight it. And you know what, speaking of the salon and the great masters, we think, they had everything. They didn't have everything, Like Caravaggio didn't have cadmium red I'm having on my palette. And he would usually not have ultramarine blue. He would use black, and he would know, this is a real mastery actually, to know how to mix colors, to get a color you don't have on your palette, how to get green from black, You should try it. It's so much fun. So I'm pretty sure Caravaggio would have loved all that abundance that we have in our studios today, but he figured out how two colors can fight each other to create something very beautiful on canvas. Don't we want to learn it too? I do. And as I said, my color palette today is not a traditional limited color palette. It's not Zorn color palette with 4 colors. And actually about Zorn, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to Sweden. And I hope I will see his paintings in Stockholm. And if you've never heard about Anders Zorn, but you've heard about Zorn palette, I'll tell you, he was this rock star in painting in the 19th century in Sweden. Well, not just in Sweden, in the whole world, because he traveled the world and he was painting kings and presidents and multimillionaires. But what made him famous was his color palette. He was creating all these breathtaking masterpieces just by using 4 colors: white, yellow, red, and black. That's it. Yeah. And he was Swedish, so I'm going to Stockholm, and I hope to see one of his most famous paintings there, the Midsummer Dance. I believe that's how it's called. And there are actually 3 copies of this painting. He made 3 versions. One of them is in Stockholm, the other one is in Moscow. Well, I'm not going there. And the third one is a smaller version. It's in the United States in a private collection. I'm not going there either. So I'm going to Stockholm. I will take you with me. Promise. So it's a hint, subscribe. I might show you something interesting while I'm in Sweden. Yeah, but anyway, the philosophy of my limited color palette today is the same as Zorn's color palette. It's to keep things minimal to get the maximum out of it. And Caravaggio, what was his color palette? He would use white, but not titanium white. He would use lead white. Toxic, by the way. But it was so beautifully semi-transparent when mixed with other colors. And this is how he actually achieved that very beautiful effect of a sculpture on a flat surface. He would use many layers of color, including flat white. Why did I say flat white? Lead white. Yes, lead white. The next color was yellow ochre. I think it was one of his favorite colors because you see it everywhere in his paintings. But he would not use yellow ochre. He would use lead tin ochre, also toxic. And here I do have this historical match, my ochre and his ochre. The next color he would have is the red. Well, but his reds and my reds are a bit different. He would use vermilion and red ochre. I'm using cadmium red light, and I believe he did not have cadmium red light back then. If I'm not mistaken, cadmium red light was invented only, 19th century? I might be wrong. I'll put the date here. When the color was invented. Again, he used red in his paintings, and I believe he loved fireworks the same I love them. They might be small ones, but they should be there, to put accents on a cloth or whatever. The next color, ultramarine blue dark, and he did not use blues as much as we use them today. He would use black to achieve that effect of the blue. And actually ultramarine blue from that lazulite stone, I believe that's how it's called, it was very expensive. It was more expensive than gold back then. And only if the commissioner or the patron was so wealthy that they could afford it, Caravaggio would use it. But most of the time, he could not afford ultramarine blue, and this kind of makes us the same. Welcome to the club. The next color is burnt sienna that I'm using. Well, I'm not sure if he was using burnt sienna, probably not. He would use burnt umber or raw umber. But the effect is the same. It's very earthy, although umber is a bit stronger than sienna. But I'm using burnt sienna. My little Dutch windmill, I want to show you. I would not call it a finished product. Can you see it? Yeah, because I was not going for a masterpiece, a la prima finished painting. I was just trying to have fun, and I kind of did have fun. And the 2 problems I realized I was having. The first one, I had this very strong red imprimatura, and it was kind of difficult to cover all that red because you see I was going for that Arvydas Kašauskas style. No, I couldn't do it. My paint should be very thick, and but it's just not me. I'm not a thick painter, So, and the other thing is that my yellow ochre by Old Holland didn't behave like an ochre and totally betrayed me. So maybe it's because of that very strong red imprimatura red background that I was having. So I will let this little painting sit overnight, and tomorrow I'll touch it with other colors, but definitely not from that limited palette because I want it to be juicier. And I think one of the problems that I was having is this ultramarine blue dark. Maybe I should have gone for, I don't know, phthalo blue or something different. Or maybe I should try the black color the way Caravaggio was doing it. Yeah, maybe I should do it. All right, so enough with this, and I'm also happy that I chose to use this cadmium red light today, because if it wasn't for this tube of paint, then I wouldn't have been able to get any suggestion of a sunset in that little painting, because everything looked very muddy on that red imprimatura. Yeah, I should redo it. So next time I should probably choose a completely different set of colors for my limited palette. Oh, and I totally forgot to ask you, what's on your palette? Do you ever use limited palette? Please tell me it's not Zorn palette. No, I'm just kidding. I don't really care. The main thing, it helps you achieve what you want to achieve on canvas. But do you use blue? Yeah, let me know. I like talking, but I also like hearing voices. So please drop me a comment and let me know about your color palette. Yeah, I do want to know. My name is Dimitri Ross, and I'm a figurative artist in Amsterdam. And I hope to see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao. What was Caravaggio actually using? What was his, I always want to say, color palette? Color palette.